Hello from Southern Ontario, June 10th, Saturday afternoon. Beautiful. I decided to take the rest of the day off. No politics, no yard sale, no packing, sorting, organizing, paperwork, nothing. I need a break. So I thought I'd share a story time with you. It'll be a rather lengthy one, but if you want a perhaps pleasant distraction. The year's about 1991, something like that. I'm working in a motorcycle shop. I'm the service manager in North Vancouver, right on Esplanade Avenue, right above the then abandoned shipbuilding docks. You still see it on the internet. You used to see it in Easy Rider and stuff all the time. They had a great big sign there that said erection shop, and everybody thought that was hilarious. They'd take pictures of it. Well, any erections going on there had nothing to do with shipbuilding, because the shipbuilding industry had perished in North America. Kawasaki Heavy Industries in Taiwan had taken over the shipbuilding industry, which is how I came to be working in the motorcycle industry after having spent 2 years in welding school. There was a glut of welders and no ships being built. So anyways, I'm in the front of the shop talking to my boss, mosquitoes, and the head mechanic sticks his head out with a wry grin and he says, "Scott, there's some customers out on the sidewalk there for you." So I go out, there's 4 diminutive little Japanese sailors, and they have a Suzuki, a GS 750 from 1977, what we would now call a dusty barn find. Now the GS 750 Suzukis are, I think, quite aptly often referred to as the original superbike. The thing actually had a frame that was up for the task of the power the bike made. The Japanese had always made more power than their plagiarized copy of the Northern Featherbed frames were up for. Flexi flyers, they were often referred to, and sometimes a drunken squirrel would be more apt. Weren't quite sure where the thing was going to go when you pinned the throttle slides. At top speed, they'd use up the whole lane. But anyways, the leader of the 4 guys there, he's holding out 2 $20 bills and he's going, "You flix? You flix?" I think $40 was about the shop rate at the time. Pretty close or something anyways. So an hour later, I have the noble old girl running, albeit rough, you know. It's a week later, Dave, same deal. Your buddy, who we quickly started calling Uflix, was there with another $40. So, like the 3rd week of this or something, I've got the old girl running pretty good. Uflix and his crew were astounded by the magic of the mercury gauges as I synced the carburetors. This bike had been run right out of tune, as they often were, those Jap bikes in those era. The guy would just keep turning up the idle, and as you synchronized the carbs, you'd have to turn the idle down, the bike would just start to scream. Uflix and his buddies were astounded by this. By the way, use a mercury gauge, not a gauge, and don't rev it up and snap the throttle shut, it'll ingest the mercury from your gauges. So anyways, 3 weeks or 4 of this. The old girl's running pretty good. She's not ready for the high banks of Daytona, but it's roadworthy. And they always pushed it away. Like they just rolled it in and rolled it out. Nobody rode it. So on the 3rd or 4th week, the girl's running good there. And a few minutes later, a guy comes in and he's going, "Oh, what's going on?" We're crowded around down there in the dock. And so we step out on the sidewalk. We look down. It's far enough away it's hard to make out detail. But we can see a crowd surrounding a silver bike. And Dave, my head mechanic, says, "I think that's your buddy Uflix and his crew, and maybe some of the other crew from the ship." Sure enough, out from the crowd wobbles the silver bike down the dock and off the end. We're like, "Huh!" Dave and I jump in the company van, leaving the boss to run the shop, and whip down there with all the tie-down strats from the van and the help of the Japanese ship crew. We get the bike up out of about 5 or 6 feet of water. And you Flix, he's soaked, right? He's standing there, he looks tearful at me, he goes, "No Flix?" I said, "No, I'm sorry. No Flix. It's done." Poor fellow was in tears. Last we saw of Flix and his crew, they were pushing the bike back to the ship. We saw it disappear down into the hold. And in the next story that I'm going to post right now, because I'm just keeping myself amused. Anyways, I'll have 2 more stories of bikes that fell in salt water. But, well, it was a sad day for Flix. Nobody got hurt, but it was all over for the old Suzuki.